How many people are 3 for 3 on church this year? 3 Sundays and 3 Sundays you've been in church. How many people are 3 for 3? 2 for 3. 1 for 3. That's everybody. So those are Hall of Fame numbers. And 1 for 3 in baseball, that's Hall of Fame numbers. Next Sunday you can be 2 for 4. So congratulations, those have been here all 3 weeks. How many people made a New Year's resolution this year? How many people made a New Year's resolution? How many? Let's see hands, honest hands. All right, how many people have broken the resolution already? How many people forgot the resolution? It sounded good 3 weeks ago and they don't remember what it is now. All right, that's lots of people. All right, so a couple of years ago in our community, we introduced the concept of having a one-word thought for the year. One word. You don't have to remember one sentence or one list, but one word. And so I encourage everyone to choose one word and have that one word kind of be able to check in with that every day of the year. You can write your one word down, put it on your nightstand, or put it on your desk. You can make it like at Notre Dame where they put it on the wall and they tap it every time they go out to play. Every time you go out to take on the day, you tap your word. So, as I requested, well, we have our one word for our community this year is the word time. Hopefully everyone can read that in the back. The word time. And I asked for everyone to submit a word, and so we have about, 80, 90 different words up here. That wasn't all the words. We had many people, more than 90, but we had 90 different words. Some, of course, repeated. And we're going to put this up in the gym. We have last year's. We'll take that out this week, and this will be our new one for this year. We'll also print this in the messenger next month. So I hope that you have a word on here. If you don't have a word on here, it's not too late. You can pick a word, and that can be what you do for 2020. So the word for our parish this year is the word time. Time. Now, when life isn't going well, time seems to crawl by. And the saying goes, time flies when you're having fun. Now, when you're young, time seems to crawl by. You can't wait to be old. Ask anyone who's young. They say, I can't wait to drive, or I can't wait to be 18, or I can't wait to be 21, or I can't wait to go to college, or I can't wait to get married. And then you ask people who are old what their concept of time is, and they say time is flying by. I wish that I was 16 or 18 or 21 or going to college again. It's just interesting perspective. So some rhetorical questions for today. Do you make the most of your time? Do you feel like you make the most of your time, or do you feel like you waste a lot of time? Are you present in your time? Present means I'm living today. Many people are living yesterday, or many people are living for tomorrow, and they're not thinking about the time that they have today. Either they're filled with regret for yesterday or hope for tomorrow, and they're not present in the time today. So again, one of the reasons I picked the word time for our community is so that we don't either crawl or fly, but that we're present in the time that we have today. Do you set goals for yourself, or do you merely exist? There are lots of people who just go through the whole day and then they go to sleep and they wake up and they do the whole day tomorrow. It's a very frustrating thing in life when you go through like a whole year and then you flip the calendar for the next year and you're like, I'm in the same place where I was last year. It's particularly frustrating in our church community, although we're getting much better at that every year should bring some new goal, some new thing that we want to do as a community. Just like there should be new things that you want to do in your personal life or your family life. Have you ever audited your time? My phone used to audit my time for me, the part that I spent on the phone, and I turned off that setting because I was too embarrassed. It said you were spending X amount of time on your phone, Father Stavros, and I said, that is way too much time on the phone, so I will turn it off, and then I will know. But if you audit your time, how do you spend your time? There are people who say, I have no time to think. I would disagree with you. There's lots of time in the day, I think, in every day, where you are mentally idle. I could be in the office running copies, and I'm technically working. I'm running copies, but I'm not mentally engaged. I just push a button and I wait. And I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, or I could think of something else. I could use that time to pray. There's lots of time that we have mental idle time. When you go into the car to drive somewhere, do you put the music on, do you put NPR on, or do you use that as a time to pray? When you're getting dressed in the morning, tie your shoelaces, what are you doing with that time? One of the things I've tried to do with my time is every time I bend down at the waist, I try to say the Jesus prayer. Now, I'm always dropping things, so it's very easy for me to say that prayer many times. When I put my shoes on, I say it twice. When I pick up my backpack, I say it once. And throughout the day, I can say that prayer, 30, 40 times. I'm very clumsy. So you can find time in your time to check in with God. If we all were honest, who wins? The phone versus prayer and the Bible? Probably the phone wins. Sad for most of us. Now let's say that you're spending an hour, 2 or 3 on the phone every day or on your mobile devices and social media. Can you find 5 minutes to pray? Can you find 5 minutes to read the Bible? What are you doing about your time with God? Another thing about time is that it's tricky to balance time. The day has 24 hours, and ideally we rest for 8 of them. Ideally we work for 8 of them, and then we have 8 of them to do other things. Do with our families, hobbies, cooking, cleaning, shopping, whatever it is we do with our time. Now most people cheat on that equation. The first thing we do is we cut down on the sleep. We say like, the doctor recommends 8, I will try, 6. And then we should be working 8, but we work like 12. And then we are short on everything. So this is something that is a challenge for everyone, to learn to balance time. There are 2 words related to time that come from the gospel lesson today, the healing of the 10 lepers. The first word from the gospel that relates to time is the word gratitude. What does gratitude have to do with time? Do we take time every day to thank God? Do we thank God that we are even alive to see today? Do we thank God for the things that we have at our disposal today? Do we thank God for the food that we're going to eat, for the people we're going to meet? Do we thank God for the job that we have, for the family that we have? Do we feel grateful? Do we feel grateful in the sense of feeling satisfied, or do we always have our minds moving ahead to the next conquest? Do we actually slow down and say, thank you, God, for the things that I have? Or do we just think about all the things that we don't have that we want to have? And the second word related to time that comes from the gospel today is the word gradual. These 10 lepers came and they sought healing from God. But Christ didn't say, bam, you're healed. He said, go show yourselves to the priests. And these men were like, well, shoot, if we show ourselves to the priests, they're going to say you're unclean. And then they'll throw us out of the town again, giving us further embarrassment. Of course, they trusted in God, and they went, and while they went their way, they were healed. It happened in a gradual time. Of course, only one of those came back and said thank you to God. Perhaps the other 9 thought that God owed them that. Maybe they felt they had lost a lot of time. They said, now I have this blessing, I deserve that. The Divine Liturgy has a sense of time. It's not counted in hours or minutes or seconds. People ask me, how long does the Divine Liturgy take? If I say, well, an hour, hour and a half, more or less, it's not like a basketball game where there are 48 minutes, or a hockey game where it's a set amount of time, or I'm in school and the bell rings at 2:45 exactly and I leave. The Divine Liturgy takes however long it takes. Maybe we sing slower, maybe more people receive communion, maybe I talk too long. But when we are in the Divine Liturgy, we are in a sense of time called kairos, God's time. We don't measure it in minutes and hours and seconds. We leave the world and all its problems and all its stresses, and we come in here to enjoy some time with God. I was talking to the Bible study group the other day, the women's group on Tuesday, and we were talking about what is unique about the church. Why do we come to the Divine Liturgy on Sunday? And the answer is very simple. We come here to commune with God. To commune with God. Everything that we do in this community can be replicated elsewhere, probably better, but not communing with God. Only that can be done here. And we talked about the Old Testament where God said, where he gave commandments, and the Israelites put the commandments in an ark, and they carried the ark wherever they went. And the people thought when we're with the ark, we're with God. And then they built a big temple, and they put the ark in the temple. And then when the temple fell a few centuries before Christ, all the Israelites were sad because they thought that God died and the temple was conquered. And so Christ says, we are the temple. When we come to church and we look on the altar, we have the tabernacle there, which has the body and blood of Christ in it, the real presence of Christ. And when we receive communion, we become a tabernacle. We have Christ in us. We become a temple of God everywhere that we go. So for those who received communion today or last week or sometime this year, you are the tabernacle of God. And how would you use your time this week, and how will your time reflect that you are a tabernacle of the living God? 3 more quick comments. One, it said it's not too late to pick a word. If you haven't done that yet, today is only January 19th. Pick a word and have it shape your year. The second comment is we're doing some really great things in our community. Our stewardship, as we heard last year, was at an all-time high. This afternoon, when we leave from here, we're combining with Christ the King Roman Catholic Church to do a project called Feeding Children Everywhere. We're going to prepare like 20,000 meals this afternoon so that 20,000 people can get some food to eat. That's an awesome thing we're doing. So when Father Len and Father Curtis from Christ the King are here in a little while, along with a bunch of their parishioners, please greet them and welcome them warmly. It's really an awesome thing to pair with another church, particularly one that's not of our denomination, to do an edifying project like this. We put in half the money, they put in half the money to purchase the supplies so that 20,000 people can eat some food. That's awesome. Now, one thing regarding time that we can do better in our community, we can get forms in a more timely fashion. We'll have a stewardship table in the hall again. If you didn't fill out your card, please do so on this time. Don't wait next week, next month. Fill it in now so we know how many people we have that will be part of our community this year. And that leaves me one last comment on time. Last night my family went to a movie. The movie started at 6:55. What time do you think that we got to the movie? 6:30. Good guess. We put it a little closer. But we didn't say, you know, the movie's starting at 6:55, so let's set the alarm promptly for 7:30. You know, because it's going to be a long movie, 2 hours and 17 minutes. You know, we'll just catch the end. So I think you know where I'm going with that. Come on time to church. We get on time everywhere else, and we set the alarm yesterday to leave the house on time. We even got there early for the previews. That's like coming to church for the Orphans, the preview of the church. You don't have to come for the preview. You can if you want. But get here on time. The show, God's kingdom, present here. The most important thing you do every week starts promptly at 10 o'clock. So thank you for being here today. Come next week and up your average, and come 10 o'clock so you can see the church like this for the beginning of the service. God bless.